Hello, welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. I've got to do something in the very near future which I'm feeling quite anxious about. And if I get it wrong, I've got a problem. I'm converting that garage behind me into guest accommodation and I'm putting in a new bathroom. And I've got to connect the bathroom, the toilet in the bathroom, to my existing septic tank. Which means I've got to break in to the clay pipe which services the house. I've got to break into that clay pipe and then I've got to connect it with the plastic one that comes out of the garage conversion. So I've got a couple of problems. The first one is, how do I connect plastic to clay? Well, I've solved that because you do it using these rubber sleeves and they're like got big Jubilee clips on. You put the thick end on the clay and the thin end on the plastic and you tighten them up, and that's the connection. That's the easy bit. The bit that worries me is cutting in to the existing clay pipe. Because what I'm going to have to do is cut a segment out and insert the plastic in. And I've never done it before. Now, I did have a bit of a practice using a masonry angle grinder, but I didn't get anywhere. And I looked at a YouTube video and they were using a reciprocating saw. And a friend of mine had a reciprocating saw and they've lent it to me. So thank you, Ian and Craig, for lending me this. Now, of course, you've got to have a masonry blade to do this. A reciprocating saw basically does that, whereas a circular saw does that. So I've bought a masonry blade off Amazon. And this is like a dress rehearsal. This is a practice. I'm going to practice trying to cut this clay pipe here before I go ahead and cut into the one that's in situ. What I'm worried about is I'm worried about it cracking. I think it cracks quite easily, this clay pipe. There's already some hairline cracks in this piece here, so I expect that one to shatter when I start going at it. But I'm still going to have a go on this, and you'll see me practicing. I can't see any cracks in this piece, so that might be a better piece to use. But in any event, I'll be getting some practice and developing some skills of using the reciprocating saw with a masonry saw bit out here, and hopefully it will work, and hopefully I will learn some things which I can then take forwards onto the real job. And if the real job goes wrong, well, I don't know what's going to happen, because I'll just have to keep cutting away at it and cutting away at it until I get a nice straight edge that I can use these on. But I'm worrying, aren't I? I'm going for water and creating problems that don't exist yet. Let's have a go first, shall we? So I've got my steel toe cap boots on. I've got some robust gloves. I've got some safety goggles here. This is the new saw, and I will bring the camera in close and we'll have a go cutting into this clay pipe. And if it works, I will link the video below where I do the actual job in the ground and connect the pipes together. Right, so let's get this out. So now obviously I'm going to fit the new saw before I plug it in, because you don't want that accidentally going in. Now these are simple fittings, they just slot into place like this. So blade in, glasses on, gloves on. There's a circuit breaker on this extension cable. There's also one in the house. So let's plug it in and see what happens when we turn this saw on, and then we'll have a go on the clay pipe. Now I bought a blade which is longer than the diameter so that I can go all the way through. That was one of the other problems with the angle grinder, it didn't go all the way through. Right, plugging in. Well, it feels powerful. Now it's time to have a go. I'm going to put my foot on it, one end, kind of stabilize it, and I'm going to go very gently and slowly at first and hope that we can cut through this pipe with this saw. Well, we're definitely making inroads. That's what was that about 1.5 minutes? And we're definitely making inroads, and it's quite a nice clean cut. Now it's occurred to me that I probably should have marked it. I should have put a nice right-angled marker pen around. So that's one thing I will definitely do when I get this in situ. I'll bring the camera in a bit closer so that you can see the effect this is having. Now that was going really, really well. I was very encouraged until it hit one of the hairline cracks on the underside, and then, as you probably saw, it threw out a bit of the clay pot, and that's what worries me, if there's hairline cracks in my clay pot. But I'm going to have to be brave on this. I'm just going to have to go ahead and try it. It's working. I'm very encouraged and very pleased. There is another hairline crack on this one, but I am going to have another practice. I'm going to put a piece of tape around this one, masking tape, parcel tape, and I'm going to mark it. Now, it's not an exact science, but that black pen line just gives me a better idea. I did think about using one of these rubber things. If I push that on the pipe, I could use that to make a mark. That might be an idea for future reference. Right, let's have a go on this one. This one's glazed. The other one wasn't glazed. Let's see what happens with this glazed one. But we're definitely making inroads, albeit slightly slower than before. That could be number one because of the glaze, but also maybe the blade is getting either hot or blunted, or dull, as you say in America. Right, so I'm going to buy a few of those blades, so I've got a few in stock. I don't want to get halfway through the job and then not have an effective blade. So before I start the big job, I shall buy these. I'm finding that if I move it and rotate it a bit, it cuts more effectively. I think that's possibly because I'm opening up different parts of this blade to the clay. Well, we got through it. I think that took about 5 or 6 minutes, and I was getting very tired. So one thing I will be doing when I do the proper job is having frequent breaks, but it's definitely gone through, and it's quite a clean cut as well. And despite the fact that there's a hairline crack here, this one hasn't shattered, so it might be an idea to put some tape round. I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm feeling very reassured and slightly more confident about having a go at the real job, which will be cutting into the real pipe underground in the trench. So if you want to see that video, there'll be a link to it below this one. Keep your eye above the saw so that you're cutting in a straight line. Have frequent breaks, wear the appropriate equipment, take your time. See you soon for some more pipe cutting adventures. Bye for now.